In this video, I will demonstrate how to generate suspicious behavior on an endpoint system using two different attack modules within ATTACKIFY. One of the first modules that we will run is the create process command line spoofing module. We can go ahead and look at the details and see the event that is generated. We can see that this payload executes notepad.exe but manipulates the command line arguments to reflect something other than the notepad path. We'll go ahead and select the endpoint to run this module against. Once we have submitted the module to run, we'll swap over to the endpoint machine to monitor some of the activity. Looking at the task manager, we can see the notepad process and we can see the manipulation of the command line in the column there. If we swap back to the ATTACKIFY platform, we can go ahead and look at the results in detail. We can see that the module has completed and we do have one event. We can select view to see more details. As we look at the details of this particular module that ran, we can see how the ATTACKIFY endpoint agent was able to extract the module, execute, and then generate the detailed logs, which match up to what we saw in the results whilst looking at the endpoint. We'll now go ahead and run a second module, specifically looking at unhooking the NTDLL dynamic link library, which is heavily monitored by most of your EDR and antivirus solutions. The payload for this module will attempt to locate and unhook the NTDLL library in memory from any security solutions that may have already hooked the library for monitoring purposes, thus allowing an attacker to continue undetected on the endpoint. And now we can see that the endpoint agent has picked up the module as it has moved into a busy status. We can go ahead and look at the results. And we can see that the module is currently running, and we'll give that a moment to finish. We can see this module dropped another payload on the endpoint and run the executable, logging the details, which includes mapping the file in memory and successfully resetting protections while finally unhooking the NTDLL from the system, thus simulating a suspicious behavior on the endpoint. In this results view, you can also go through the module summary, a detailed description, some mitigation and detection strategies. And that brings us to the end of this tutorial.